And maybe we'll see it here. Paladin versus Druid. Now, this is what boggles my mind. It's like, Paladin is still a pretty decent class, but yet no one is bringing it post Blackrock Mountain other than Strifecro. Why is that, Monk?
I think it's just people are very tunnel visioned, besides Strifecro, of course. Their tunnel vision is in the fact that Hunters got quick shot, so they're all just want to try the shiny new toys. Also, they're tunnel visioned to the fact that most players seem to agree that Emperor Thorazane is best in Druid. So everyone just by default brings those two classes. And then as we can see from Orange, for example, he just brought as his third class his most favorite class, so he brought his Rogue. Whereas other players, they might bring like Mage, for example.
All right, well, I still think Paladin is absurdly good if it curves out well. Having Emperor Thorazane into the Paladin also helps it do some really wonky combos. Like if Quartermaster's cheaper and Muster for Battle is cheaper, it's like you can coin Thorazane into turn 6 combo of Muster for Battle. And it's like, how do you actually beat that? You can't. Like most classes would just not be able to deal with that whatsoever.
Yeah, not only that, you can like Equality Consecrate for way less mana.
Yeah.
And usually when you Equality Consecrate, if it's not on like turn 10, you can't develop a minion. But if you do it early on, you can develop like even like a Lotheb perhaps.
Yeah, even if it's 1 mana cheaper, it's 5 mana instead of 6. So you're absolutely right. Druid missing its first 2 turns of RDU is bad news. And now Strifecro, well, he can take advantage of this, developing out that Pilot Shredder and utilizing that Cog Hammer wherever it lands next turn to pick off a really good trade.
Yeah, it's interesting that he just went for that right away. I think a lot of other players would have thought about it a bit more, perhaps developing either the Knife Juggler or Cog Hammer or whatever, but I think he's just really afraid of Keeper the Grove, and this is definitely the best option against the Keeper.
There it is, the Emperor.
The Emperor strikes back.
Oh, very nice. Yeah, so he has Cog Hammer or he has Knife Juggler. Knife Juggler allows him to get the juggle in, but the Cog Hammer allows him to potentially pick up a really nasty trade, especially if it lands on the Pilot Shredder, so that way he can go for the trade and then evaluate what comes out. Almost anything that comes out he should be able to kill. Actually, he should be able to kill everything. There's no 5 health, 2 mana drop, right?
Yep. The only yeah, there's actually nothing. I was gonna think of like Druid of the Flame, but that's 3 mana.
It's 3 mana.
Yeah, kind of the unfortunate case for Strifecro, but whoa! And whoa.
All right, nah, fair enough.
That's kind of like the egg is kind of average. Like, there's actually I don't know if there's a way for you to proc it. But Harrison Jones comes down.
I guess through swipes is the only way that you
through
can
swipes
make
or
insurance. Oh, equality.
Well, if you have Wild Pyromancer as well in your deck, but
Right.
I definitely don't see Strifecro running Wild Pyro in this particular deck.
Yeah. Yeah, good point. So that Cog Hammer ends up not working out for Strifecro. He gets his weapon disarmed. Druid draws more cards. Druid's going to be hitting the Emperor a little bit quicker. And I think he has to be mindful of what his opponent's turn 6 play, because if he plays the Sludge Belcher, then it gets contested, it can't kill off the Emperor Thorazane, and he has to spend his mana doing it next turn.
Yeah.
He can't just drop. Like, if he drops Lotheb, his opponent drops the Emperor, he can trade into it and drop his own.
Yeah. That being said, I guess at least the Slime will be able to contest the Harrison Jones.
It's true.
It's still not the best that you want, but... Yeah, it's just being the player on the back foot and also being the player that he started off second, so his opponent's Emperor Thorazane will just get much more value. And basically, as Strifecro, you can't really play your own Emperor Thorazane because you won't be able to deal with your opponents.
Right.
And your opponent's having his Emperor Thorazane being alive for 2 turns is more valuable than having your own Emperor Thorazane being on board for 1 turn.
He just gained 8 mana. It's ridiculous. Especially because he drew cards off the Harrison Jones. That combination
what a combo.
was so disgusting. How did you deal with this?
Equality Muster for Battle is actually not too bad.
Yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. You can clear the board, develop some pretty decent minions. Just cross your fingers for no swipe.
Well, swipe actually wouldn't be too bad here, right? Or if your opponent has a swipe, because if he swipes, because you equality your own egg, then
Right, he kills it off.
Yeah, exactly.
He has the Keeper of the Grove, though, conveniently as well.
He can also Keeper and swipe on the same turn on 7 mana.
The alternative is to... The alternative is to keep Equality and go for Knife Juggle stuff? Is that another possibility?
It is, but... Oh, wow.
That's so Strifecro. He doesn't want to miss out.
This game is about to get crazy.
Yeah, I feel like Druid could potentially just run away with this game. Holy smokes.
So again, that's the Nilium tech, or the Life Coach tech, Nourish. Pretty much the only team and the only set of players that uses that card. But I've seen a thread on Reddit that said, people say that Nourish is better because Emperor Thurzane exists, because you can potentially either ramp up more mana or draw more cards for the Emperor.
Okay,
Makes
so
some sense.
so Strifecro does this because he wants to play Tyrion next turn, right? Because his turn afterwards would stink.
Yeah,
So
that's a good point.
this is his way to say, I'm not going to win on the cards. I'm going to just have to win through snowballing the board.
Savage Roar.
Oh, he can keep her.
Okay. He does this instead of the swipe because he values the swipe a lot in this matchup.
Right, especially for Mustard for battle. That's fair. I can't believe the cost of some of these cards.
All right, let's see what they go down to. Swipe for 2.
I'm pretty sure we knew what was going to happen there. Now, one thing that is nice is that the Keeper has been used, so Tyrion has a higher impact. But once again, another turn where he only gained... Okay, so last turn he gained 8 mana. This turn he gained 7 mana, so that's 15 mana reduction across the board. It's almost getting to the point where in a turn or two, he can play his entire hand and draw more cards to play more cards.
Yeah, Strifecro, he didn't clear the board last turn, and especially he didn't deal with the Emperor. But let's see if he still sticks with the same line of play, because then, like, combo will pretty much be free. It's like, oh, I played, like, Drew the Claw, plus combo, plus, like, 2 Savage Roars.
Okay, well here's Knife Juggler, Mustard for battle combinations. Pretty nasty with Equality. I can't believe how cheap that is. It's just 4 mana for such a ridiculous board impact. I thought that Strifecro was willing to sit on Equality. Like maybe he would have sat on Equality for no matter how complicated the board got, he could always Equality Consecration. But seems like instead he's favoring for an opportunity to perhaps just seize control of the board here. But a swipe. That swipe, though.
Yeah. Like, the benefit of the swipe is that...
It's 2 mana.
Can you...
Hero power.
No.
You can hero power down...
yeah, if you
right.
do that, if you hero power down the egg, then the Knife Juggler survives. And I don't know, it's actually kind of a toss-up between whether a 3-1 Knife Juggler or a 4-4 European Egg is more threatening.
What if he picks up Innervate and just plays everything he ever wants
double
to?
swipe.
Well, one's for 4 mana. Yep, seems balanced.
Yeah, might as well throw down that 1 Mana Shade.
That's ridiculous. All right, well, Strifecro picks up Choose Silver Champion. I mean, he's got an abundance of weapons at this point.
He can put his faith into the light, or he can consecrate to kill off that shade. It's the only chance he'll get to kill off that shade, actually.
Kill off the shade and then play Lotheb.
That doesn't seem too bad.
Yeah, it's more mana efficient too, because Tyrion is a little clunky this turn. I like it.
Yeah. To be honest, like, this actually doesn't seem like... Oh, actually just True Silver.
Right, it makes sense
I like it too.
I like that Strifecro is playing for tempo because he realizes he's not going to outcard his opponent and not going to play as efficiently through just the sheer numbers.
The problem is not only the card advantage, but RDU will be able to get tempo back very easily because of the cheap cards that he has. 4 mana Sylvanas, come on, let's do it.
It's so ridiculous, just the potency of everything here. Like, can you imagine the tempo swing of Big Game Hunter? Like, for 1 mana? It's everything that Druid wanted Naturalize.
Yeah. It's actually pretty
Pilot.
cool. Again, RDU is valuing his swipe a lot because the one way he can lose from this point is if Muster for Battle comes down on the board with a combination with the Quartermaster again.
Man, if Strifecro could drop Tyrion and Lotheb, though, imagine that wombo combo.
With Tyrion, that's...
Dr. Boom's not bad. Unfortunately for him, the Big Game Hunter does exist on the other side, but it is still another impact card.
Yeah, Tyrion seems like the safer play, and
it does.
The play that doesn't let you lose to Force of Nature Savage Roar.
Well, Force of Nature Savage Roar doesn't kill you next turn. Tyrion is also the most damage. If you play Tyrion and swing the face, you can potentially get a weapon for a lot. The alternative is that Dr. Boom can also put out a lot of damage too. Both are high impact legendaries.
What a rich hand from Strifecro at this point. All legendaries.
Pay to win. The question is, how insignificant will that one silver hand crew feel next to one of these cards? Because I have to imagine that it doesn't feel good to be matched up next to that.
I mean, I think the other side of the argument is that it's looking up to this big legendary, so it's getting like kind of like an aura from it. It's like a brilliance aura or command aura.
Sure.
It's like, okay.
Oh, Strifecro didn't attack, playing around Mana Wraith. Okay, a Trog is about average. There's no spells really. Combo does come into hand. Wait, is that lethal? No. It's like you have to just count.
I actually didn't look for lethal there.
Right. Just because like it's so cheap.
Yeah.
It's 7 mana.
Oh, okay. Well, that's a combo.
That is really cool. Oh my goodness. Savage Roar to buff the Sylvanas and steal it with big... RDU's so proud of himself.
Oh my god.
It's like, yeah, I'm 18 years old and I'm pretty good at Hearthstone.
Yeah, I did that play. All made possible because of...
Dude, he's posing for the camera. Look at him. Hands underneath the chin. Good for you, little buddy. Ah, Strifecro's dead.
You did it.
There's nothing he can do about that. Look, I thought we were talking about, man, Emperor T and the combos that you can make off of that mana usage is absolutely nuts.
Yeah, who would have thought that in a single turn you could play Sylvanas plus Savage Roar
plus Big Game
plus
Hunter.
Get Big Game Hunter.
And swipe before you do that too.
That is just insane. Wow. So each of those 3 cards had to be like -2.
Wait. Why did he swipe? Couldn't he have stolen Tyrion? Because there's only a 1/1 left.
Yeah, because he had a chance to steal the 1/1 if he didn't swipe.
Right? Oh, you're right. I forgot about it. Okay, so I guess that's it. Strifecro doesn't have anything else to do.
Quite unfortunate, but we have to get it for RDU there. He did a pretty epic play, even though he was probably going to win anyway.
Pretty awesome. We'll see if RDU can continue that train. Anything can still go the way of Strifecro. Now, RDU does like that tempo mage, and that tempo mage has given Druid fits today so far. Remember that mage versus Druid game in Forsen versus Orange? I remember it like as if it was just an hour ago. Well, it was 45 minutes ago, so your memory's pretty poor, Monk.
I'm sorry. I'll try harder next time. And
I will try my best to show good casts.
I will work hard.
Please cheer for me.
Thank you for my family for supporting.
What are you gonna do with the money, Monk? We get casting.
I'm gonna save
it for my family. Oh God. Well, that's one way to answer Mana Worm.
Kind of a slightly overkill way.
Yeah. Do you think it's best to just save this wild growth? Because with that Mana Worm, you see that it's tempo mage. I feel like you can definitely seize it back forcefully by going for the Druid of the Claw and playing Wild Growth the following turn. You should be able to pick up a couple cards by then to maybe play something. Also, you have Big Game Hunter. Yeah.
I feel like the argument for just getting the Druid of the Claw out ASAP is you don't want this Mana Worm to grow
too large.
Yeah. Like if you for example clone Wild Growth into Innervate Druid of the Claw, then the Mana Worm could potentially grow to like a 3/3, and then you just take like 2 extra damage on your Druid of the Claw.
Well, you do know the hilarious part of it is that there was a way for it to die with Flame Cannon. Like if you Flame Cannon trade, it's like, well, you just spent 2 Innervates. So That would have been a really funny situation. I wonder how salty Strifecro would have been. Probably not that much, considering that the guy is just
Never salty.
an actual living teddy bear.
Have you seen the video clip of Strifecro? Is like, okay.
I have. Strifecro is the nicest guy in the world. Killing out the mana worm, definitely appropriate for the power levels, but as a result, allows RDU for a very efficient mana usage of his turn.
Yeah, it's kind of a little awkward though.
Yeah.
Like, you can Frostbolt the Druid of the Claw, but that leaves him with 2 HP. And then with your remaining mana, you can either decide to develop the Mirror Entity, or you can ping it down over the course of 2 turns.
Right, but you can Mirror Entity the following turn, though. Right, so you can Frostbolt now, ping, and then pass, and then your opponent... You can play Mirror Entity and ping the next turn. But then, like you said, you're developing... You're missing out the development of the Pilot Shredder.
There's not even a guarantee that the Sorcerer's Apprentice will survive the following turn either, so you might not be able to fit all that in the following turn.
Well, I think that Druid of the Claw paid for itself. Got 3 cards for 3 cards.
So we got the Mana Worm, the Sorcerer's Apprentice, and the Frostbolt. Huh. That's still fair, but usually with your Innervate plays, you're looking for like slightly more, I have to say.
Well, as the control player, I think you definitely want to take that kind of initiative, don't you?
Emperor T. Unfortunately, it looks like it's possible that Emperor T won't be getting that much value.
He's going to be reducing the cost of 1 card.
It's actually really funny how Emperor T works in the fact that, like, it's a card that's really bad for its stats. Like, ignoring the effect, right? 6 mana for a 5/5 is pretty bad. You expect something like at least a Boulder Fist Ogre, right? So when you play it, you're usually losing out on tempo. But decks that really go for tempo, they typically don't have a lot of cards in their hand at that point. So decks like maybe Tempo Mage. But whereas decks like that have a lot of cards in their hand on turn 6, they're like Handlock. But usually if you play that on turn 6, you might just die because like your opponent is too aggressive and you lost too much on tempo.
Really interesting observation, Monk. Now, Loathtype coming down here disrupts the coin Ancient of Lore play for Strifecro. He'll be in a lot of trouble, in fact, because he's going to be missing a drop. He can't play anything. In fact, he has a Hero Power Pass, unless he picks something else up. Anything 6 and under would be great.
It's not bad.
That's one of the best cards he'd have asked for, other than another Druid of the Claw or Sylvanas. Oh wait, I guess his own Emperor.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards that he could have drawn, so it wasn't like that.
Well, that
would
have been, yeah, that's true. He cashed in next Rammus too. So RDU gets a pretty significant board lead here. Emperor does reduce the cost a little bit, but the important thing is that if these two get reduced in cost and he picks up, you know, Fireball or Frostbolt, that gives him more opportunities and options next turn.
Yeah. I would imagine that this Kirantor Mage, if we fast forward like 3 or 4 weeks, it's probably going to be a Flame Waker, right?
Yeah, I would think so. I just remember that Raynad was saying that he thinks Flame Waker is going to be the key to the Flood Mage deck.
Okay.
Because he says...
yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, because you have Mirror Entity for 0, or sorry, Mirror Image for 0 a lot with Sorcerer's Apprentice. And so if you Flame Waker, and you have Sorcerer's Apprentice on board, and then, like, you have those things, and then you, like, you know, Echo of Medivh, and you get all that stuff. It just, like, controls the board so much.
Yeah, it's essentially like Zoo, right?
Sort of. Man, this is really tough. A lot of board and combat math involved here, but looks like RDU, or Strifecro, is in a really difficult spot here. RDU looking to just steamroll Strifecro with this mage.
I mean, it's entirely possible that there's a board clear. In fact, there's a kind of a guaranteed board clear here.
Right.
But after that, like, the Boombots are going to hit. Almost certainly. Okay,
so the way to guarantee is to Pilot Shredder into 1, and then, yeah, and then to use a Boombot, or swipe. No, you'd want a Boombot first, right? Yeah, and then swipe. Nah. Actually, very mediocre result.
Very bad. Yeah, great sequencing from Strifecro.
He might even be able to kill off. Depends on how this Boombot lands. Yeah.
Yeah,
Not the
you're
best.
thinking that it was possible for
Right.
Druid of the Claw
Drew
to
the
actually
Claw to
kill
kill
this
it off
deck.
and keep the 7/7. Now the question is, can Strifecro stabilize long enough? And will this Tempo Mage have to draw anything really big?
Yeah, we saw in a previous game where pretty much Forsen had to top deck a Frostbolt, which was a 1 in however many it left in his deck because he had used both Fireballs.
Yeah,
and
1 in
his-
like 10.
Exactly.
Flame Cannon, a little bit awkward.
Okay, pretty good.
All right. Gets off the Puddle Stomper. Still somewhat problematic that, you know, that this Druid of the Claw is the king. What if, do you think Strifecro should heal his... Yeah, I think so, right? He should definitely... Oh, I guess drawing cards is better for him. I was thinking about the possibility... Strifecro can win.
Wow.
He can win as long as his opponent doesn't top deck a Fireball to end the game.
Let's see, a Fireball. Is there anything else? So he would be at 9 HP next turn?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so Frostbolt doesn't do it either.
It's just Fireball? Or Silence, an Owl? Or Polymorph or something.
Sounds like, okay, so... if you-
Any way to get past the taunt without
Yeah.
using your
It
minion.
depends if Strifecro trades here or not. And Strifecro's just doing some math right now, some
Right.
lethal math, to see if he actually has to attack here for lethal next turn.
Well, you know, now that he has the combo instead. Mirror Entity is not it! Although, the Pilot Shredder...
Now, there's always the Pilot Shredder. Come on, what is this? Oh, that's not a good one.
I feel like we've seen Goblin Auto Barber quite often.
Yeah, there's been some days where,
Right.
like, you see a certain card. Like, for example, I saw a Defy String Leader
Yep.
like 2 days ago a lot.
How scared are you for Counterspell? I don't think it's time for you to guess. I think it's time for you to go for it.
Yeah, come on, Strifecro, you can do it. Man mode this.
Well, you know, I feel like RDU pretty much did everything he could. There's nothing else. He's out of cards. I feel like he sequenced almost everything to the best of his ability, but Strifecro just outlasted because he has the better longevity and card density as time goes on.
Wait,
He's really worried about this counterspell. I think what he's doing is there any way to guarantee that even if it's counterspell, I can kill or survive? And I think the
I don't
answer
think
is
so.
no.
Yeah, we saw, for example, Hyped, he like played too much into
Right.
whatever secret it was in a previous tournament in the Kingwind Pro League.
Right.
He basically thought it was like his opponent's trap was either freezing or explosive, but it was freezing, and he actually had guaranteed lethal there. But because he played around the other traps, then he actually gave away a lethal and gave away the game against RDU.
He's playing so careful just in case it's like, okay, is it vaporize?
Is it Ice Block? Oh, he didn't play around Ice Block.
Yeah, you're right. But if it was not Ice Block, you would have been screwed either way.
Oh.
So that wraps up game 2. Strifecro ties it up.
Hands. That's actually pretty cool. Like I always thought it was like, I'm not really sure. Like there were actually spells coming from where her hands
Yeah.
should be.
It's it's a very different art style too compared to some other cards. It looks kind of like Prismata in a way.
Okay.
Right? It's very futuristic, not very. Oh. All right. So I guess we're just gonna relaunch the Spectator client. 7 mana or 6 mana, you know, maybe even less.
Yeah, the Chinese deck that I got this Grim Patron from, this Grim Patron deck, it actually had Emperor Thursday in it for exactly that. Basically, Math Warrior.
Yeah. Grim Patron, Warsong Commander, Commanding Shout, Profit. That combo just needs to happen once, and we'll make the Trollden highlight video.
Yep. Well, actually, we're getting into a game right now, and it's Strifecro has a new hand, or rather, RDU has a new hand, and it's going to be so much better.
Yeah, that's actually a lot better, considering that he has stuff to do in the early turns.
It's actually like from one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, because you have your 1 and 2 drops, whereas before, like you.
Quite fortunate for RDU. How does Strifecro retaliate here? He's hovering over the coin because the Leopard Gnome just gets easily picked off. Knife Juggler does contest, but if it's a Frostbolt, he's also in trouble, which does happen to be.
Okay, so he goes with
Exactly what
the
it
Knife
is.
Juggler here. I actually wouldn't have minded the Mad Scientist either, because even like if the like if your opponent has a Frostbolt or any kind of spell, then it trades. But you also have the Glaive Zuka follow up anyway. And if like let's say this didn't happen, and the Mad Scientist survives, you can buff up the Mad Scientist with the Glaive Zuka to take out the Mana Worm. So right here, does Strifecro Dark Bomb this Mana Worm?
I don't think it's that type of matchup where you try to play the control.
Yeah.
You let the Mad Scientist go. If it pops, then it gets Explosive Trap. And it's like you said, you might be able to Glaive Zuka Lepronome next turn. I like it. And I'm actually siding with a little bit of your play. In the maybe Strifecro could have considered the Mad Scientist previously so that he can get the tempo early on. However, the Mad Scientist... oh, he does Dark Bomb. Wow. Strifecro's playing Control Face Hunter?
Yeah, actually, at this point, RDU is not entirely sure what kind of hunter this is. I guess if you do run Quick Shot, it's almost certainly Face Hunter, though, yeah.
I'm just so fascinated, man, by what we just saw.
I guess he saw that the Mana Worm was so threatening on the board. Like, the Mana Worm would have just traded, like, 3 or 4 for 1 at that point, right? Or at least 2 for 1, at the very least.
Well, yeah, it traded for 1 for 1. Quick Shot.
It traded 1 for 1, but also just the threat of it forced Strifecro to play a little differently. Like, he didn't go for Lepronome turn 1, for example.
Not the easiest trade here for RDU. What does he best want to activate the trap for? Killing off the Mad Scientist does mean that the Explosive Trap does commit, but what if that's a freezing trap? Counterspell stops the Animal Companion.
Yeah, that's kind of really funny.
It's an Explosive Trap.
I
don't know. Like, we've seen some players go for freezing traps. So if he somehow got a freezing trap, that would have been really bad news for RDU.
Strifecro doesn't really strike me as the kind of player who would run 1 freezing trap in a deck. I think he, I don't know why, but I feel like he would run like 1 snake and 2 explosive or just 2 explosives plain. This spell that came out of RDU's deck, Counterspell, it's actually a lot better than Mirror Entity because normally when you Mirror Entity a hunter, like you basically get like a Wolf Rider, for example, and the Wolf Rider, you get the effect of the Wolf Rider, or you get the stats of the Wolf Rider, but you don't get the effect, which is the charge ability. So it's like much less valuable.
Now that Mirror Entity's been played, Strifecro can safely assume it's a Counterspell and Mirror Entity. So there's actually not that much guesswork. That's a pretty good draw too, the Ironbeak Owl. So that way he has an opportunity to make sure that the Mirror Entity has low impact, if any at all.
Yeah, that being said, I think like no options are good here. Like pretty much everything in your deck is either a spell or a minion.
Sure.
Besides the weapons, of course. So Strifecro is essentially going to be locked out at least for 1 turn. And in that 1 turn, RDU will have a chance to play the Emperor.
What about playing Explosive Trap, Counterspell, and then Animal Companion, though? You still have an opportunity where you can push in some damage. The Explosive Trap's not going to be super valuable anyways. Alright, so both explosives have been used up, making Mad Scientist relatively useless unless there's a Snake Trap.
Is it possible to just hero power here? The reason being that if you get any Animal Companion that's not a hover, it'll just get traded into with the Piloted Shredder.
Then what do you do next turn? The same exact thing, Animal Companion, except his board's a little bit better, so he can pick a better trade.
You could possibly Ironbeak Owl on the same turn next turn. Okay, so he goes for the attack here. Wow, Strifecro really playing that control hunter game. Oh, a taunt. The anodized Robocub.
All right, well, Ragnaros for 7, and RDU might be able to take the initiative here.
You know, like when Emperor Thorzen comes on the field, he says like something like my.
Oh, I've always played with the sound off.
He says something about like getting power from Ragnaros, and now he's actually like giving heed to Ragnaros, right? Because that's for 7 mana, Ragnaros will come down.
I don't see how Strifecro can win with just a damage in hand.
Yeah, you say that, but I wouldn't underestimate Face Hunter ever.
I'm underestimating it right now. I don't know. I mean, I'm not saying it's completely over. It's just if Ragnaros comes down, then
Oh, that's interesting. So instead of R&B Gowling the taunt, he goes for a Thorazine. It's
gives
just
up
that
damage.
good.
Strifecro's played this so control heavy.
The other problem is the Mad Scientist, if it comes down, it probably won't spit out a secret. 2 explosive traps have been used, so Strifecro, he needs to have that other 3rd trap.
I just want to know how much damage Strifecro has opted for trading versus the face. And how much impact would that have made? I don't know exactly. It's always difficult to tell.
Yeah, that being said, like, even though you do trade sometimes, like, for example, with the quick shot, that's still, like, somewhat damage to the face because the Mana Worm, for example, wasn't able to contest some of the earlier minions on the board.
Fair enough.
So from that,
True.
Strifecro was still allowed to get some damage in.
You are right.
So
a lot of trades from RDU.
RDU's certainly hoping for nothing to come out.
And I don't think anything did. Making Ragnaros. Oh, so he's going to sequence it so that way he can use the Ragnaros potentially as lethal. Well, I guess you got one thing to do here. It's pretty much hit the face.
I feel like at this point, you don't really care too much about giving your opponent too much mana because you gave your opponent used Thursday anyway, so he's probably going to be able to play a lot of stuff either way.
All right. No necessary guarantee for lethal this turn, but still has Ragnaros put you on one more final turn.
Yeah, and I feel like there's nothing in the 100 deck that can actually
quick
lethal
shot.
Your opponent.
Quick shot.
Quick shot to Leroy.
Yeah. Oh my goodness.
Quick shot into just like that's not it. But yeah, quick shot.
Dude, that
into
was like
Arcane
a possibility. Golem. Like anything. Quick shot into Leroy or Arcane Golem.
Yeah. Either. Well, it wasn't anything, but it was just those two.
Sorry. Like there was like 16 players.
What was the prize?
It was like 100 euro.
Oh wow.
And so because we all put in like 20 euro, and I was supposed to play, but I had to go cast. And then RDU disqualified me from the winner's bracket finals.
That's unfair.
And then top 2 was guaranteed payout. If you got second place, at least you got your money back plus extra, like 50 euro. But then because I was still casting, they eliminated me from the winner's bracket finals. So I got eliminated from the tournament after getting to the winner's bracket finals.
Sure, you were robbed.
Without playing a single game from that point on. And the top 2 was RDU and the Romanian admin, Andre. I was like, you Romanians just gypped me out of money.
Wow. Okay, so I think
it's not about their country, man. I was just like, it's the fact
it's
that
just
both of them, I felt like they were working together against me because they're like, okay, well, we just DQ throwed in.
All right, I'll try to heckle RDU to get your money back, okay?
Gosh. All right, well, actually a lot of action has taken place so
I mean,
far.
this is like a fourth of the game so far.
I know. We actually missed a lot of talking points here. So RDU, the player we're on right now, he went second, which puts him at a disadvantage considering Strifecro is curved out perfectly. He's going for...
Oh.
Okay. I was anticipating that he would have... Actually, no, it makes sense. He has the Knife Juggler and Unleash the Hound, so he really wants to keep that going. But almost any animal companion here is pretty good. And it's also a lot of health on the board.
Yeah, not only that, but Strifecro has the explosive trap in his hand. That's like a really key card in the matchup. Normally you want to get it off the Mad Scientist, but just basically all 100 minions, except for animal companions, they're going to have 2 or less HP, so it's essentially like a consecrate for 2 mana in some circumstances.
Right.
That sometimes gives bonus to your bow.
Would do you want to leave Misha exposed? I have to imagine that you want to trade.
Yeah, I like this trade a lot.
So that way Misha can, at least force your opponent to have something else. The Abusive Sergeant. All right, well, the Eagle Horn Bow is pretty awkward. You're just going to have to take damage. And that Misha has been absolute killer. Jeez.
Wow, so it's much better than even a Huffer in that situation.
And because Misha forced a trade, it's like it actually reduced the impact of Unleash the Hounds because it's a minion that needs to take damage.
So this is what RDU has been waiting for, his power turn.
But it's not even as powerful as I thought it would be.
Yeah, Strifecro has been doing a great job of controlling the board to limit his minions to a sizable 2. Like, this is like pretty much the perfect number of minions you want on your side of the board, right?
Right. 2.
2 is just threatening enough, but not threatening enough for not big enough for Knife Juggler Unleash the Hounds to be able to swing the game around.
All right, Unleash the Hounds. Where the juggle's going to go? If they go to the face both times, that's awful. Oh, man. Uh-oh.
Oh. Strifecro cracks a smile there.
Yeah. Now it's like, oh, you can see at least the Mad Scientist up, but the trade has been made even.
And now Strifecro will be able to return that favor with his own Knife Juggler Unleash.
Yeah, should he do it? Question is that you can do it, but just have to evaluate whether or not it's the optimal play.
I think you do have to do it because Strifecro likely only runs Explosive Trap. So his only other play would have been like to actually play the Explosive Trap or kill Command the Face, something like that.
It's good damage. Now that Unleash the Hounds has been used, would you like to preserve the Mad Scientist or preserve the dog to get a little bit extra damage in the next course of turns? It only depends if he has Explosive Trap.
You can actually kill the dog with a number of options.
Oh,
just for
he
face.
leaves it up.
I like it. I like it.
You know, it's the only instance where the Abusive Sergeant, which he showed that he didn't have. He showed that he didn't have the Abusive Sergeant. That's where he gets punished. Or so to speak. I mean, Strifecro is so far ahead in the race. It's almost comical at this point for RD to try to catch up.
Yeah, especially with that Explosive Trap.
Right.
And he has to even use Quick
Shot. To try to climb ahead on board.
Yeah, it's also the problems with Quick Shot. You can't really combine it with Leroy Jenkins, right?
You can. You just Leroy first.
Yeah, but like you need like it'll be at least turn 6 before you can actually use Quick Shot to draw a card in that circumstance. And I feel like if you're using Quick Shot like that, you might as well be running something like
oh man,
you might as well be running something like Arcane Shot, right?
Yeah, fair enough.
But yeah, this is looking quite bad. In fact, quite close to unwinnable. Even completely unwinnable, I would say.
Yeah, he has to attack the face somehow. And you can't even Leroy Explosive. In fact, he might.
Strifecro has an Explosive up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, that's guaranteed lethal then. Right.
Yeah. So, out of all the games that we've seen today of Hunter, I actually haven't seen Quick Shot being used to draw a card yet. Like, I mean, it'll draw one now, but it's not really.
No, it won't even draw. Really he's gonna have another card in his hand.
That's true. Like he'll probably he'll be able to draw now, but like he doesn't need to. So out of like the 5 or 6 times it's been played, it's just been used as Dark Bombs, right?
It's just more damage though, and more importantly, it's direct damage that can bypass taunts.
That's true.
So I don't mind it. Sometimes it's just like a vanilla kill command that you need a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, it's just interesting. Yeah. Well, Strifecro does get 2 very important cards in his opening hand, the Muster and the Coghammer. But yeah, he's really looking for that Shielded Minibot and Zombie Chows if he runs them. Shielded Minibot, I feel like that's the most underrated card in the game, certainly. Like it's
underrated
card? Yeah, it's so like especially when GVG first came out. It's
really efficient. So efficient. It almost can trade with anything on its Manic slot, plus a little bit more. Like, there's only a handful of cards you can't trade with at 3 mana. Like Mukla, for example. But even then, it's like, you play a little bit more mana and you trade really well into it.
Yeah, when it first came out, I don't think anyone put it in their top 10 lists.
Right? Yeah, you're right. I'm going to go back and read that list, man. I do it every time I want to just have some fun and lull.
Yeah. People were saying... everyone had like Trogzor the Earthinator as #1, for example.
Right. Or, you know, Vol'jin. But Vol'jin ended up being...
Vol'jin is still like pretty good.
He's pretty good, but I haven't seen him in a priest list in a long time.
Well, there's still in like the standard priest list, but yeah, you're right. Like Light Bomb Priest doesn't run it, for example. So yeah.
Choices. Shielded Minibot does arrive, and it is pretty efficient normally, but you know your opponent has a couple of minions on board here.
I like Shielded Minibot because it sets you up for a Consecrate in the following turn.
Oh, that's an excellent point. And then it gives you the Pilot Shredder. Plus, you still have a minion on board.
Like, worst case scenario, your opponent gets a Leok, but you can still clear mostly everything. in
Well,
that worst case scenario.
if you're RDU, you just start putting more damage on. 7 damage this turn. That's so much for 3 mana.
The question is, does RDU play around the Consecration? I like playing around it. Just go for face. Fit in a hero power there.
Yeah, for sure.
I wonder if RDU kept the one, like, did he keep one of these Unleash the Hounds in his opening hand?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I guess he did. I'm being told he did. Yeah.
Yeah, so normally you do want it against a potential monster for battle, but he's gonna get slightly punished here, I feel.
Very, very good read from RDU not to play Snake Trap. And looks as if RDU is going to get his board cleared. Can he follow it up, though? I mean, if it's just a single trap and Strifecro finds out, like, say if it's just Hero Power and Snake Trap next turn, Strifecro will be in tune with this and find out that it's Snake Trap, and then we'll play around it as much as he can. Oh boy, that's not what he wanted.
Oh, looking bad for RDU in this moment. Seems like a pretty easy turn. Go for face.
Pilot Shredder.
So I feel like now it's gonna, unless Strifecro draws the second Consecration, it's probably gonna turn into a race at this moment.
Yeah, and that True Silver Champion is a pretty big deal. Healing for 4 is nothing to slouch at.
It's kind of like a Holy Fire.
Right. A little bit on the more damage side.
Yeah,
then.
deal 8, heal 4. Not too bad.
Right.
These hounds are going to add up, though.
Absolutely.
Oh!
Oh, a second Consecration! Wow.
All right. So,
Does he want to play Lotheb instead so he can win the race? Let's see. If he does 6 damage this turn, he puts his opponent at 20. Next turn, he'll have 11 to put his opponent at 9. But he only has 6 mana to play, so he only can do... Yeah. And his opponents will have access to Unleash the Hound's kill command the following turns.
we can see Strifecro counting on his fingers at this moment.
I mean, he can still activate Snake Trap and then clear the board. Will he win the race that way, though?
This is basically when Strifecro has to tap into his matrix code and see all the possibilities in the next like 3 or 4 turns.
If you put him at 22 and you play Consecration here, you put him at 20, you only have 6 damage on board next turn, so you can challenge him for 14. So that still puts you 3 turns away, but you still can play True Silver Champion and buy a little bit of time. You know, I don't think I mind popping Snake Trap here before he gets weapons. True Silver Champion, he's just going for the race straight up. He's inviting him. Oh man. Straight up. And he's gonna use Lotheb to lock out a kill command. That's his game plan.
Oh, it's gonna be pretty great. Like, even though if he didn't have the Consecration, it would make this turn much more difficult. I feel like this is one of the circumstances where, for a lesser player, drawing the Consecration would actually lead lead you to losing because you fall into the trap.
Right. It's bait. Now, if you're RDU, are you gonna sense that, or are you gonna play the Worgen Infiltrator and Hero Power? I would have to imagine you feel confident enough that you'd Hero Power, right? And play the Worgen.
Yeah.
But how much damage is on board? 5, 6, 7. And then if you attack, you gain to 10 health. Hold on. So if Strifecro attacks right now and plays Lotheb, his opponent can only have 4 damage on board plus the 5 from the Hero Power, so it'd be at 9 damage, and he can't play anything. He can't play any spells.
So the other option is for Strifecro to Consecrate here, and probably not Hero Power. And he would put himself to 10.
Actually, that's the much better play for sure. Wait, is that the winning play though? Because of Unleash the Hound's kill command?
Unleash the Count.
Yeah.
That's 7 damage. Yeah, that's lethal.
That's just enough, actually.
And like this Hero Power doesn't actually even matter.
Oh man, unfortunately, it's like for Strifecro right now, if he played Lotheb, I think he had a chance to win. But because He's one because of the exact damage being generated by Unleash the Hound's kill command and the exact mana. Oh no, he's got 7 mana. He's got more than that.
Yeah. Like, I think this is like the only way for Strifecro to lose. Like, if you played Lotheb, like the only thing that Lotheb would do is like save him from this Unleash the Hound's kill command, right? Any other option, like if you had an Arcane Golem or a Leroy or Wolf Rider, it would have killed Strifecro at that moment.
I mean, realistically, RDU could have just drawn a charger right here. No, Strifecro would have won.
Wow.
It would have been
That's pretty
the difference
amazing.
between him advancing and him losing. RDU takes it with Hunter and advances to the round of 8, and the dream is dead, Monk.
Like we both guessed Strifecro
yeah, we picked Strifecro for the bracket. We're not cheering against RDU, guys. It's just that it's the first blemish in my record, so drat.
And I am actually now 1 for 4.
You're 1 for 4.
Yeah, so
congrats to RDU, man. He played excellently. Love some of